Hello and welcome to another episode of Drams Delivered. Thank you to all the new subscribers who have signed up this month, and welcome back to our loyal subscribers who are here for another month and another dram. This month we've got something that's a big favourite of both of ours, I think, and it's from Ledaig. Now, I hope you're sitting down because John is going to talk to you through the history of Ledaig, and it is quite a big checkered history. So I'm going to sit down and relax, and hope you're relaxed and listen to John's tale of Ledaig.
I'll try not to bore you too much.
No, I'm intrigued. Go on.
So Ledaig has had quite a storied history in that it's probably been closed for as long, if not longer, than it's actually been open and operational. So it started in about 1798, so about 200 years ago, just over 200 years ago. Not long after it was opened, it was closed for about 40 years. Then it was open again for about 15, closed for another 40 years. Bought by another company in 1972. They went bankrupt about 3 years later. Yeah. So then another company bought it and they started producing in 1979, ready for the whiskey loch. So then it shut down about 3 years after that for another 10 years of closure. And then in 1993, it was bought by Tobermory Distillers Limited, who then went on to be bought by another company. Tobermory hasn't had a great history. Now, when I talk about Tobermory, I'm really talking about the distillery that Ledaig is produced at, because Tobermory produces two different kinds of whiskey, or two different spirits, if you like. So Tobermory is unpeated and Ledaig is peated, and they have different cut points as well. So Ledaig is a heavier kind of spirit, Tobermory is a bit more light. Now, well done. Are you a fan?
I think you deserve a dram after that, John.
Are you a fan of Ledaig, Matt?
I am a big fan of Ledaig, or Ledaig, as I originally thought it was called.
I think most people do think Ledaig when they see the name, but in Gaelic, we don't have all the fancy letters that you do in English, so we don't have a J. So the D here almost acts like a J, so Ledaig is how I would pronounce that.
For years I thought it was Ledaig.
Yeah.
But no, Ledaig, as you say.
At the end of the day, however you want to pronounce it, that's the right way.
You know what I mean.
It?
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Ready?
Lovely.
Classic.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So the whiskey that we're going to be trying today from Ledaig is their Sinclair Series, Part 1. So there's going to be more in this series. And this is aged in ex-Bourbon and then finished in Spanish Rioja casks. So you can see that lovely kind of reddish glow to the whiskey that's been imparted by the Rioja casks. And you would expect quite a lot of big fruity flavours as well from those casks. To be honest, Ledaig is a really robust, thick, meaty, almost rubbery spirit. It has this really intense kind of sulphurous note to it. So you really kind of want something big flavour-wise to stand up to that. And I think Rioja is probably a good shout as a cask to age Ledaig in.
For sure. I think we both like our wine, and Rioja is definitely is a region in the south of Spain that produces sort of a medium to full-bodied red wine. So, and it can be aged for a long time as well. So, you can get that. I think on the nose actually, there's a real fruitiness.
Yeah. And then there's also like cow shit as well. Which all the best Ledaigs do taste of, you know. It's a tasting note that sounds really odd until you smell it and you go,
There's the West Coast coming out in you, John, there. Yeah.
I can smell the manure that the cows have just left in the field.
But it is, I think, both of us, Ledaig is that kind of, farmyard, and there's also a rubbery note. I'm getting a little bit of it in this Ledaig, not as much as other Ledaigs I've had.
Something that I haven't really experienced in many other whiskies, if any, but it really does have.
There's still that hint of rubber, isn't there?
Yeah,
and
it's very odd.
Yeah.
And I think Ledaig has become this kind of cult distillery, certainly in whiskey circles, for having this really unique sort of flavour profile that I personally love. So,
should we have a wee taste?
Let's have a wee taste. Slange of that.
Slange. Oh, there's like a long, rich, smoky kind of
Really long
finish on
finish,
that.
yeah.
It goes from like light and fruity to woomph, there's the smoke.
It goes on for a long time.
Long time. So this is bottled at 46.3%. And this is a category of whiskey that we've actually not featured in a wee while, I don't think. So this is what we would call non-age statement whiskey. So traditionally, if you think of whiskey collections, they maybe have like a 10, a 12, a 15, and an 18. But kind of one of the more modern ways of doing things is actually not putting an age on that. Sometimes that worries me because the more information and transparency, the better. But actually, if the liquid is really good, then does age really matter?
I think with certain whiskies and with certain cask types, it maybe does. So I think a lot of Islay whiskey, a lot of peated whiskey is sometimes better in that sort of age range between like 5 and 10 years old. As peated whiskey ages, you're going to slowly lose that punchiness that you get from the smoke. It's going to mellow out and you're going to lose that real sort of zest that it has. So I think a non-age statement can be a good thing if it's used correctly. And I think in this case, this is a good example of a great non-age statement whiskey.
Me too.
Can you think of any non-age statement whiskies that you don't like?
Yes.
Something gold?
Something gold. Macallan, not Macallan. Not going down the Macallan route, John. Not going there. But yes, Macallan Gold is rubbish. So we maybe won't be featuring Macallan. But no, that for me was an example of bad non-age statement. Like, on a serious note, I think we're open and honest about whiskey, and actually, like, Macallan 12, 15, 18, 21, 25 is undeniably good. Yes, it's expensive and hard to get, but it is good. The fact they brought out a series called Gold, Sienna, Ruby and Amber and tried to charge the same price, but weren't telling us the age of it. It was clearly covering up that it was younger whiskey. There's no denying that. And that I didn't like. One thing about non-age statement whiskies I don't like is if there's too many words, that concerns me. So if it says, this is Distillery X, Master Select, Special Cask Reserve from a seriously limited warehouse.
All of that means absolutely nothing.
Doesn't mean anything.
None of those terms actually mean anything.
So
those are marketing terms.
That's a lot of spraff that doesn't mean anything. So that concerns me. But stuff like this and things like Ardbeg, like, the liquid speaks for itself. So this is Tobermory, finished in Rioja casks. They've told us it's been in bourbon, then moved to Rioja casks. And for me, the flavour's great. You get the sweetness, the fruitiness, then you still get that Ledaig kind of smoke coming through. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this is great. And it kind of takes away the stereotype of, I only drink 18-year-old whiskey, I only drink this. Like, give this to a whiskey fan and I think they'd be suitably impressed. Like, I think I am anyway. I'm a big fan of that.
You'd have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, should we have a wee dram and say goodbye?
I think so, yeah.
Well, cheers.
Bye, everyone. Hope you enjoy. Let us know what you think. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you all soon. Cheers.